We're going to place a few intelligent object doors into the project now, starting with the external doors, which are obviously just at the ground floor level. So to do that, we first of all make sure that we've got a suitable layer. So we'll create a new layer, and I'm just going to use my own preferred layer naming system here, which is based on the CISFB coding system. These are secondary elements, and they're external windows and doors, 3D model, and level 0. And I'm just going to tag the letters BIM on the end of this layer name to let me know that this is part of the demonstration. Change the colour, something like bright blue. And when you're working in a multi-user project, the other thing that you need to make sure is that the walls that you're going to place these doors into are owned by you. If the layers are locked by another user, then the intelligent object will be unable to form the apertures. So just to do that, we select all of the walls that we're going to be working on and make sure that we take ownership by clicking on the layer tab and just checking that this box here shows a tick mark. If the box doesn't show a tick mark, that means that the layers are not owned and that they're either owned by someone else or available to be owned by someone else. If the box is shaded in, that means that some of the layers that you've selected are owned and some are not. So we'll select all of them, click on close, and we can now begin. What we're going to do, we're going to start by creating a door that's going to be our exit from the showroom in this corner here, and then we'll put a copy of that door as our fire escape from the staircase on the adjacent wall. Let's just zoom in a little bit closer. Object new, we're going to create an external door, again using our standard object naming system. In this case it's keyed into the SFB coding of the layer name by the number 310, and we put in IFC door colon as our first facet. That establishes it as an intelligent object. We click anywhere in the drawing window to place the hook point for the new intelligent object. We need to set the properties before we try and place it into the wall, otherwise the link between the two intelligent objects won't be established. If you did try and create it in the wall, it would still create the door, but it wouldn't be linked to the wall and wouldn't form an opening as it should. So now we'll take the properties window, and I'm just going to drag this into the middle of the screen so we can see more clearly what the settings are that we can make on the door. There's quite a lot more than on a wall, for example. The first thing we need to set is door. We've only got one option on that at the moment, and then the door operation type. So let's change that to say a single swing right. If you click on the ellipsis, you just get a dialog version of the same selection list. Okay, we leave the width at 910 and the overall height at 2100. Those are correct for an external door, at least in the UK. The frame depth is set at none. None is a bit of a misnomer. What that means in this case is that the frame depth will be automatically set to the width, the depth of the wall itself, which for a cavity wall is pretty significant, and we don't usually create a frame of that size. Let's set a frame value of 130 millimeters. We can either press enter to fix that or just click into another box. Frame thickness 49, we're happy with that. The frame offset is 0, which means that the frame will be drawn from the front corner of the opening. So we need to set a different value for that. Let's say 30 millimeters, so that the door is inset a little bit from the outer face of the wall. And we can choose to set materials for the door frame. We can set values for an architrave. If we say leave those as none, then no architrave is drawn. And likewise with the threshold, we can choose not to have a threshold, and the transom and panels and so on. We can choose to specify an angle for the door leaf, the way that it's shown in plan, whether it's at 90 degrees, 120 or 60, whichever people prefer, and the way it's shown in perspective. Just leave those alone for now, but if you've got an office standard or a personal preference, you can choose to do that here. And one of the classics is a door would be often shown on plan at 90 degrees for a proper door, but at 45 degrees if it was a closet door, for example. Down at the bottom we've got a couple of entries that are interesting. Constrained means that the door opening itself will be constrained to the baseline of the wall. So wherever you snap onto the wall, the door will automatically always jump to the baseline position. It will always be drawn at what is theoretically going to be floor level. But there's a situation, of course, where you might have a split level floor within the same wall height. So you can choose to have a door free, unconstrained, in which case you can snap the position you want to place the door in terms of height as well, and that will be held. Or you can choose to leave it constrained and specify the base height up of the opening. So for example, if you've got a split level where the higher floor is 600 millimeters above the lower floor, you could type in here 600 millimeters for the door at the higher level. So let's leave those alone at the moment. All of our floors are at the same level, and let's dock the properties window along the side of our application window again, and now we've got our door in 3D. So let's click to select it, attach it to the cursor, and just drag it across to the wall. Make sure it's the wall that's highlighted. Snap onto the wall, and the door, which I've deliberately placed too close to the corner, takes a huge great chunk out of the corner. Not really practical as a door. But all we need to do is just click to select the door and drag it along to the position that we want it to be in the wall. And as with any graphics that you create in MicroGDS, you can position things accurately by using coordinates, distances, offsets, that kind of thing. Want to make a copy of that door now for our fire escape. It's going to be close to the grid line here, so all we do is use our repeat command, snap anywhere on the door, it doesn't matter because it's constrained, and snap onto the wall, and it automatically adjusts the wall orientation, the door orientation shall we say, to match the wall. And again we can click to drag it into position, and again you can snap positions that you have to make the dimensions relative or set coordinates and so on. Notice how the opening moves with the door. If I drag the door across here, and you'll see that the opening has gone with it. Move it back, and again the opening's gone with it. You've got undo and redo, they work equally well, so we can do, that's the view undo there of course. Where have I put it in there? There we go, undo and redo. Okay, so they work with intelligent objects just as they do with conventional objects.